We are live, apparently. Yes, we
Live.
are. What's up, everybody? Welcome to CRL Chart Request Live. Spencer Israel here with Patrick Donawilla from the Chart Report. Pat, what's doing?
How you doing? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Market is
It's
quiet.
yeah. So
What's
you have the
down? It's
Dow is
down.
up. It's working on its
Yeah.
ninth consecutive day. But
Oh,
then you have the
really?
other ones getting hit hard,
9 days
especially
in a row for the Dow?
9 days in a row. Yeah, you believe that?
Oh boy. Yeah, I just and this is not because of what JC says, but a week ago, for the first time, I finally added like the DIA ETF
Yeah.
to my like chart default page on Thinkorswim. So I just have it up now always. But I didn't used to. I always had the SPY, the Qs, and the Russell, and I just added the Dow like a week ago. I was like, oh, what the hell? Might as well just add this thing. So now I look at the Dow, but I didn't realize it was up 8 days in a row. Yeah, holy cow!
Yeah. Well, it's working on its ninth. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Okay, you guys know the drill by now. It is CRL. The R is the optimal letter there. I guess so is the L, the live part. But if you have any requests, drop them in the chat now. And if you want to make extra sure that we get to your request, I always recommend that you email us. I always say cut the line in the chat. Email us at questions@stockmarketmedia.com. Do that anytime you want. I keep track of that email. We had 7 people actually email us since Tuesday's show with ticker requests. So without further ado, let's get to it. Let's start with Generac. This was a question from Ty. A request from Ty. This is one, Pat, that I always think to myself every time I look at it, I should probably buy this stock, because there was a time there where it literally went up like every single week or every single month. It seemed like it, at least. Obviously, a lot's changed in the last 2 years or year and a half. But I
Yeah.
don't know. It just always seems like a thing I want to buy, and I never buy it.
This is one of those that usually picks up like around hurricane season or big, natural disasters where people might need generators and stuff. I'm not sure if they sell other stuff, but I know they usually are associated with that. But it's coming out of this downtrend. It's peaked around November 21, like a lot of stocks did, and it's just starting to break out, still below a 200-week moving average. So longer term, it's still 70% off its highs. So has a lot of work to do, but this is constructive short term. I think it gets you to, the low 200s here. Call it 200 in the maybe next few weeks if the market holds up, or if
Yeah, I
there's a
mean,
big hurricane.
well, that's the thing, right? Hurricane season, which to my knowledge runs from like end of July to like middle of October.
That's
So
true.
there is like a seasonality play here.
I
And
would actually love to see a seasonality chart of that, of Generac. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, that would be. I guess I just have. It seemed like, and the COVID notwithstanding, it seems like 2019, 2018. I'm looking at like a monthly chart now, and it just seems like the thing always goes up, or at least always went up, with a couple of exceptions going back to like 2017. So anyway, obviously that high from November of 2 years ago is far away, but
Yeah, I mean, it really
yeah,
sprinted out of COVID here.
yeah.
I'm not sure what the narrative was, but
And the narrative
that's
was there was an asset bubble. That's the narrative. Uh,
right.
what about, this is a little bit of a smaller name, not one I'm familiar with, from Anthony. He's asking about Altus Power, ticker is AMPS, amps. They in the same vein as Generac, but they do like renewable energy stuff, and it's like a purely commercial business, not
I wonder if
retail.
this is a SPAC, maybe. Do you see how it has
Oh,
like very weird price action lately,
that would indicate SPAC. Yes.
right? A lot of SPACs look like that.
Yes. Yes.
So found support earlier this year at last year's lows. That's constructive. In fact, it was kind of a failed breakdown here. You can kind of see, and this is a week daily chart, but little fail breakout here in May, and then you're just starting to get above the 200-day here. still in a downtrend, not the best looking chart, but it's struggling at the 200 day there a little bit. Maybe you could get to 850, but I think there are a lot stronger charts out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Although if you compare this thing to many other SPACs, it doesn't look quite all that terrible.
Right.
The fact that it's not,
it's a SPAC.
I don't actually know that. I'm assuming it is from that price action around $10. I'm just gonna say it is, even if it's not. Who asked us about this? Was that Anthony? If you're watching, was this a SPAC? It looks like it was. And look, let's be honest. Renewable energy, probably SPAC. Just come on. Just
easy story to tell. You're
easy story to sell. Okay. Dan asked us for Modine, the auto component manufacturing company. I guess auto component supply chains are looking good because this chart is looking fantastic. Wow. Of note, if you do follow the stock, they announced this morning that their earnings date is going to be August 3rd. If you care about such things, if you don't, that's totally fine. But know that even if you're trading it, know when the earnings are. So August 3rd. But look at that chart.
I know this is who brought this one to our attention.
Dan,
shout out to Dan, because this is a very, very nice looking chart. Hasn't quite officially broken out yet. It doesn't. Well, it might be there. You'd have to go further and check, but that is what peaked in 95, yeah. And this 30, call it 35, 36 level has acted as resistance again in 98, 2005, and we're testing it now for the first time since 2005. Wow, that is a massive, massive base, if you want to call it. But if it breaks out, you got to imagine it's going to go decently higher.
That's like 30-year resistance right there.
Right. This is definitely one that I'm going to take a look at after the show.
Wow. Look at you, Dan, getting one on Patrick's list.
Industrial machinery. Okay.
Yeah, they make car parts.
Okay, so it's around 2 billion. That's not nothing.
Yep. Wow, that's a pretty remarkable. Actually, Pat, can you just real fast? Can you just close the side menu? Thank you. Okay, let's do this one from Wavy. I see Wavy in the chat. He's asking about Banco Santander. BSAC is the ticker. I never remember that. This is the BSAC. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth here, but is it Brazilian? No, Chile. It says it right there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It says it right there, Chile. Okay, this is a Chilean ADR, ADS, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, foreign bank is the point, and the point is, some foreign banks have been really going up. This one, that was okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of depending on how you draw this trend line. It's trying to break out of that downtrend that it's been in for the last 5 years or so. But if you look closer at a daily, still has some overhead supply to work through. You got these highs from 2022, right around 22, coincidentally. Those are kind of that's the short-term resistance level to watch, but it's got a lot to prove. We could take a look at momentum, RSI, down here in the lower pane. Kind of in no man's land. It hasn't quite reached overbought yet, so not the strongest looking chart. Not super bearish, but kind of neutral.
Sunil gave us two charts that look identical, frankly. So we'll look at one of them. He gave us Fastly and Upstart. They both look identical. So I don't care which one you look at.
We'll take a quick look at both of them. But a lot of these names that really got burned, I'm not sure if this was an ARC name or what, but was this the one that the guy was on CNBC and
Mark Minervini, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's built this nice round.
No, that was Upstart. That was Upstart. Okay. Yeah.
So it's got this nice rounded base. if it, it's kind of struggling there, I think I'd want to see it above 20 in order to get involved. But if it breaks 20, I mean, you're not looking at major resistance until 40. So you could have a double on your hands with this one. 25 would be the first kind of initial stop. You'd want to maybe raise your stop up there. If it gets there, maybe take some profits off the table, make risk-free trade. But yeah, I think 20 gets you 40.
Okay, that's easy. And then you make it sound so easy. And then Upstart.
If I had to simplify it, I think it's possible.
Right. And then UPSD.
But it is kind of getting some rejection there. Okay, UPSD.
T.
Oh yeah, Upstart. See, this one I like a little bit more. See, it's starting to fill that gap a little bit. It could, spend some time in that gap trying to fill all that kind of vacuum, or it could just go straight to that resistance level. Looks like they report earnings August 8th, so a few weeks away. But, again, that rounded base action, you had the beautiful uptrend in 2021, terrible drawdown in 2022, and then 2023, it's built this base. Or in the second half of last year and this first half of this year, it's built this nice base. So it's slowly working its way up. I think I like some of the ARC names better. We've talked about Hood and stuff, but it's not a bad one. It's working on it.
All right, here's a new one. This is from Gerbier. AVPT is your ticker. AvePoint. This is a Microsoft 365 data management solutions provider. So if you use Microsoft 365 for your business, maybe you use some of AvePoint's software solutions to help you with that. I'm not quite sure, honestly. IT services is all I know.
Again, we have maybe a SPAC because we got that kind of weird action pre-2021 right over here to the left.
Oh yeah, good point. I didn't even scroll back that far.
But I like to start with a weekly and then work in from there and then go to, daily. Sometimes you could even start with a monthly, like we did before with that nice looking chart that Dan brought up. But coming out of a downtrend similar to some of those other ones, a lot of those speculative names got, crushed last year and they're trying to repair them now. It's struggling a little bit with this $6 level. You kind of saw a failed breakout here. I want to see it kind of pick back up above these June highs. So that's around call it $6, $6.08 or so.
Right. 10
cents.
Okay. This is Eric asked about SoFi. This is mixed feelings about SoFi for me. This is one that I bought. This is also a SPAC. Or was a SPAC. I bought SoFi at 20 and sold it a year and a half later at like 5. But I am a customer. SoFi is my bank now. So I actually interact with the company more than I did when I owned the stock. Neither here nor there. Obviously it's growth, so it's been going up this year. But what say you, Pat?
So you kind of have this bearish momentum divergence here in the short term. Price made a new high here. If we drop it into a line chart, price made slightly a new high here in July, but RSI
that new high was the student loan forgiveness ending is what that was.
Oh, okay. Yep. Interesting. And it's it's below a lot of overhead supply. It's a tough one. I think you have support around high 70 or the high 7s, maybe $8. But that's a tough one. What exactly do they do? Are they a robo-advisor or
no? It's a bank. It's a bank.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's just a bank. That's all. And like every bank nowadays, they also do. You can do investing through them if you want. But it's a regular full service online bank. The keyword there being online, right? There are no branches. There are no ATMs. They do use the Allpoint ATM network, but there is no like SoFi ATM and there is no SoFi branch. So that's why I do recommend if you're going to be like me and go over to a digital bank, have another bank account somewhere that does have physical branches because you never know when you'll need a a physical bank branch, right?
Yeah.
You never know. I got a check last year from somebody in Canada, and I had to go to the bank to cash the check. I had never received a check from a foreign country before. Turns out you can't do that on your phone. So yeah, you never know when you'll need a physical branch, is all I'm saying. Okay, back to the chart. Back to the chat. What else do we have here? Let's talk about. You keep asking about this crazy one. I don't even know what ticker. That's not that ticker that doesn't show up on my screen. ALKAL is not like a US. That's not like traded in the US unless there's more tickers, more letters there. I don't even know what that is. Sorry. H Chan asking about GLBE. That's Global E Online. That's I know what that is. Or I used to know.
So this one actually showed up.
E-commerce. Yeah.
This one actually showed up on our Buzz scan last week. So that's interesting that he brought it up. You said it's an e-commerce stock?
Yeah. Yep. E-commerce.
Yeah. Global E Online.
Right.
So not bad. I mean, you can see why it's been trending lately. It's been moving higher and breaking some pretty key resistance levels. You got a big one around 36 here that it broke out from a couple weeks ago, and looks like it wants to retest it at very least. If on that retest, if we get there, I think you really need to see it hold that. Otherwise, you could see a move back to at least 27, maybe even those former lows in the high teens there. So definitely keep an eye on that 36 to 38 level there. See how price holds up if we do retest it. And then to the upside, you got next resistance around 50, low 50s too, if you want to be a little more aggressive with it.
Here's one I don't look at all too often. From Joel's 5.0. Can I get Pat to take on Nike? Sure. Nike is just kind of meandering to me, but you're the technician, so what do you see?
Yeah, meandering is a great word for it because you got this flat 200-day moving averages. JC taught me a while ago that flat 200 moving averages just give you headaches. You're just asking for trouble because there's no clear trend in place. So you get this really choppy price action where you can get stopped out, even if you do see a nice short-term bullish pattern. So that's enough to not get me excited about it. But if we zoom out a little, let's see what we have here. So maybe, I don't like to call patterns before they form, but maybe you have a little bit of a head and shoulders that's starting to form. I think that's maybe something you want to watch in the short term, is to see if it does kind of carve out that right shoulder and start to kind of build a little bit of a bullish pattern as it kind of comes out of that really big drawdown there. I'm not sure how much it was down last year. 39, or sorry, it's down 39% now, but it got cut in half last year, like a lot of stocks did. And this is a Dow component, isn't it?
I have no idea. The only definitive names that I know that are in the Dow are Johnson & Johnson. Like, for whatever reason, these stick in my brain. Johnson & Johnson, United Health, and they put Salesforce in there. And those are the only three that I remember. Oh, and Apple, right? Yeah. So those
Microsoft's
four
in there too.
Microsoft. Okay. Yeah. Nike. Look at that. I don't think I knew that.
Huh.
Okay. Cool.
And a little quick note on that. A lot of the strength in the Dow lately has been pretty broad. Like, it's not just one or two names holding it up. I know we talked about that 9-day winning streak, but you have a lot of stocks in there that are participating. So that's good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Roger asked about a couple of oil services. Let's look at OII. We always look at RIG. Let's look at the other one, OII. This thing was a darling in the first half of the last decade. And then, as good as it was from 2010 to 2015, that's how bad it was from 2015 to 2020. But that was then, this is now, Pat. And looking at a 3-year chart, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at kind of the short term here, it just broke out of this base that we've been making since March. So that's what, March, April, May, June, July. So 3-4 month base. That's definitely bullish in the short term here. If we look at it in candlestick form, you have resistance, former resistance now, $22. So it could pull back a little in the short term, retest that. You want to see those hold. If it doesn't, maybe you get a move back down to the 17 level, but I think you'd probably see that level hold. And if you want to draw a short-term target on it, get you up to 26 and a half in the short term. So not a bad play at all. And this is actually one that's been showing up on our list of trending tickers. So it's getting a lot of attention. You said it's an oil services company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oil stocks are getting a little bit of attention. They've had a rough first half of the year and a rough second half of last year after a great first half. So they're kind of
extremely cyclical, I think is the phrase here. Extremely.
Absolutely.
But if you are bullish energy, then there are probably worse names to own than this one.
Right.
Here's a new one. Thanks, Jason, for bringing this to my attention. APG is the ticker. I guess that's pronounced the API Group. I'm not sure. This company, do you know what they do? I've never heard of this before.
API.
I'll tell you because you won't get it. They make like sprinkler systems and like safety systems for buildings and things like that.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you know that before this, or did you just?
No, I of course not. No,
okay.
I looked it up.
I wasn't sure. So it looks like they went public, maybe, or maybe SPAC'd. I don't know what this is over here. Maybe just really low volume. We'll have to take a closer look at that.
I don't think this is a SPAC.
But I really like this chart. Who brought this one up?
Jason. That's a new one.
Jason, yeah. Great chart here. You even have the 200-day about to make new highs, but it might not be making an all-time high today, but it did so on Tuesday, and looks like it initially broke out at the end of June here, kind of had that retest and it held, so that's constructive. But I think this move gets you to, so it broke 26. If you like to use Fibonacci, and I like to use it when you have these base breakouts to all-time highs, because you really have no other way, or unless you're using a measured move, there's not too many good ways to measure a price target or to find resistance. And it just always blows my mind how these Fibonacci levels tend to act as resistance, even these long-term ones that you draw on weekly charts. So I think this move gets you to 35. As long as it's above 27, I think it could go to 35 there.
All right, we got 5 minutes. Let's do a few more. We had a few people just email us just moments before the show started. Chris is asking about Comcast. This is what he said. He goes, Comcast is up against 2018 highs. It's facing increased competition from the fiber builders and fixed wireless. And there was that report in the journal about the legal liability for these lead cables that are being left behind. So anyway, Comcast, what say you? CM, CSA?
Yeah, looks like it's been pretty strong this week so far. Having a good week, but still in a downtrend. It's working on it. You can see it's just kind of slowly, one by one, breaking resistance and trying to make higher highs, but it's a process. I think you're going to need a lot of time on this one. And I'd imagine they might pay a dividend or something. Maybe it's a decent long-term stock. If you do zoom out, it's been in a nice uptrend over the years. So, if it does pay a dividend, I'm not sure that it does.
It does. The yield is 2.7%. So you get something, but
yeah.
It's like it's neither a dividend darling nor a growth stock. So what is it really?
Right. But I think it's fairly constructive that this move here started with a failed breakout from last year in October. You see it kind of broke 30, which has acted as long-term support throughout a lot of major sell-offs, like in COVID and right here in 2018. 2016 as well. So you kind of had that oopsie, you know, that failed breakdown here. And that's where this move is starting from. So I think that could ultimately get you to all-time highs, but you know, we're talking 2024 at least before we see all-time highs in this one, I think.
Yep. Real fast, Nikki just said he saw some unusual options activity in ATVI. Nikki, ATVI is getting bought by Microsoft. The unusual options activity you saw is probably related to the fact that they extended the deadline to get the deal done till October. But the takeover price in ATVI is 95, and it's at 92 right now. So you can buy it today, and if the deal goes through, you'll make $3 in the next 3 months. But so I guess go for it if you think the deal will close.
If they don't,
well, if they don't, you're going to lose half your money.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not. I wouldn't buy this. There's really no trade to be had. Microsoft's buying it. The regulators just cleared it, so it's going to happen. So, yeah, look, if you want to squeeze $3 out of this thing in 3 months, like, or $2.50, like, I guess have fun. But the risk reward really isn't there, because in the 1% chance the deal collapses, you're out half your money right off the bat. Okay, let's do. Someone else had emailed. Oh yeah, someone emailed us about British Tobacco. Sam did. BTI, British American Tobacco. This is a stock that I think my dad likes this for some unknown reason. Maybe because they pay dividend. I don't really know. But it's cigarettes. So I guess the thinking is like
big dividend.
Cigarettes is a staple. So I don't know. I don't know what he likes, but do you like this one at all?
I'm seeing 8.3%. Not terrible. Yeah. You know, it's holding support here around 30. Again, acted as support several times. You kind of had a fail move here. Not the strongest stock on a relative basis. You know, we're seeing more and more stocks hitting at least 52-week highs or all-time highs. So, you know, seeing stocks that are more towards multi-year lows isn't the most inspiring thing, but it is holding a pretty important level there in the short term. I think another thing you want to see in the short term is it come out of this downtrend a little bit, but not the strongest looking one.
All right, we'll do one more. We got a couple requests for this one. KMI, Kinder Morgan. All I have to say is holy trading range, Batman. This thing is traded within a range of $15 to $20 for like 3 years.
You know what though? I'm sorry, before we move on to this one.
Yeah.
When you do zoom out, I think this is it is a really interesting level from a long term.
Oh, for BTI. Okay.
Yeah, and if it is one of those long-term dividend stocks that has a really good dividend, it might make sense to add this one to your portfolio at these levels, because it is holding this multi-year support. So when you really zoom out, you know, and that's the power of zooming out, right? You know, my perspective totally changed on this because you do see this really strong uptrend, and this has just kind of been a consolidation period. Now, if it breaks that level, that's kind of a continuation of this initial downward move. So that could be long-term trouble, but so far it's holding, and you could even throw a stop there around 29 or 30 if you are
cigarettes, man,
longer-term person.
What can you say about cigarettes? Okay, and then last one, Kinder Morgan, KMI, trading range, really going back to 2020, just super tight.
Yeah, getting real tight there. That's what I was going to say. Coming out of this you want to see it come out of that short-term downtrend. It looks like it's kind of making an attempt or working its way towards it. If we look in the daily chart, holding a pretty important level this year, call it around 16 or so. You can see it's been tested several times there. At this point, you got a kind of flat 200-day moving average. We're kind of struggling to get above it. You saw it get rejected in April. So first thing you want to see 200-day moving average. Then you want to see a breakout here. Maybe the 200-day really start sloping higher and start acting as support. Not the strongest one, but it is holding some key levels, so that's good.
All right. Thank you guys for all the tickers. We covered a bunch. I don't even know how many we covered today, probably around 20 or so. We do the show.
We found some really good setups, and I'm going to take a closer look at some of those.
Yeah, what was the one? It was MOD, right? That was the one that you said you were going to look at after we're done here.
Yeah, MOD and then APG as well. That was a really interesting one that I want to take a closer look at.
Thank you guys for all the requests. The show airs every Tuesday and Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So we will, of course, be back on Tuesday. I'll be on with JC, unless he decides to bail on me, in which case I'll have Pat come on. So that's the deal. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Pat, thanks very much for hanging out. I hope you guys had fun. Smash a like. See you guys later.
Take care.